Hey guys, so we're in the garage here back at home, and Parker's working on his 1974 Corvette, and we can let him tell you what he's doing with it. So look into the camera.
What's up, guys? So basically I bought the car last year, actually October sometime, maybe
Of 18, I think.
yeah, October of 18. And I really wanted to get like a newer Corvette, like a C5 era, for reliability and stuff, but my dad didn't want me to because he thinks they're too fast it was my first car that I was going to buy. So I ended up, I definitely wanted a Corvette, so I ended up buying this. It's a 1974 Corvette. It's got a 350 Chevy in it. It's a 4-speed transmission.
Just show us the interior and stuff.
So, just a basic. I think this when the guy bought it, it was the L42 package. There's L48.
Probably L48, yeah.
So, crank windows. No power.
Just sitting there. So you got your golf clubs in there.
Yep. Crank windows. No power steering. Hearse shifter.
So pretty old school Corvette here.
Yeah.
70s era.
The only power thing it does have power brakes on it, which a lot of them didn't have.
So it's actually
It's got
frame's pretty solid on the car.
it's got
Body's not bad.
T-tops and everything. Take
Ship
those
those
out.
out. Yeah. Hearse shifter.
So I bought it kind of knowing that it needed work, but the biggest thing that we looked for when we bought it was just that the frame was solid and that the paint was in decent shape. Like there's a few spots like on the door that there's a couple, and then this was actually after I bought it.
So what happens?
So basically the front bumper wasn't on it when I bought it, and it was right after I got it running, and I had just taken it to my prom and everything, and then I was at my friend's house and I put it in neutral, and I didn't put the parking brake on because I was just getting out for a second, and sure enough it started rolling and it rolled into his truck. Luckily he's got a big truck and it had a plow frame on it, so it literally just, one of the plow frames, it's like a piece of metal about that thick, and it just cut through the car like right there, crunched it.
So you're going to learn how to do some fiberglass repair.
Yeah, either that or pay someone to do it and make it look nice.
Yeah, that's not too bad to do.
So this is the motor that came out of it right here.
So our family has had a lot of Corvettes over the years. My uncle, when I was a kid, had 5 Corvettes. He had a 53, 63, 75, 70, and 78. Just had a lot of them over the years. My dad had a 63, 69, 70. When I was older, my first one was a 70. We had a bunch of 71 convertibles, so that kind of stuff we can fix. It's not too hard to repair, so we'll figure it out.
And so this is the motor that came out of it. So
is that the original motor?
This is not the original motor. So in 1974, everything the government got in, and basically everyone detuned everything so that they just dropped the compression ratios really low. So this motor only, well, this is a Goodwrench crate motor, so it's rated at like 200 horsepower or so. It's 8.5 to 1 compression, or 8 to 1. And so what we did was I just wanted to get it running and on the road. So the only thing I did last year to get it drivable was my grandpa actually did the emergency brake for me. It was sticking because they just for sitting forever. And then we put new plugs in the car. We put points and condensers, which I ended up taking out and putting an HEI distributor in it, and that made it run way better. And then what else did we do? We just basically got it roadworthy, and just like a few little, like the lights weren't working in the back and stuff. So then once we did that, I drove it for a year, and I told myself I would basically just, this year, especially with the coronavirus stuff going on, not being able to do much, I just basically, it's like, all right, let's do it. So
what are you doing?
I pulled the motor out, and we had a motor that my grandpa had. My uncle bought the car originally in 1970 with this motor, and then he sold it to my grandpa.
So what motor is it?
It's a 350, 300 horse, 202 heads, steel crank, forged pistons.
So it's a 70 Corvette motor is actually what
10
it
and,
is.
10 and a quarter to 1 compression. And then it's just got like a Holly intake on it, Edelbrock carb.
So I actually put this in a Chevelle when I was younger.
Yeah.
Parker cleaned it up, gave it a fresh, rebuilt it with a can of paint.
Yep.
And what's going on in the engine compartment here?
So basically everything was just all rusty, so I took a can of paint and painted it all up. And,
Well, you cleaned it, right? And
well, yeah, I had to degrease it for like a whole day before I could paint it. So then I painted it, and now I was deciding on whether or not I was going to get really in depth with it, but I think I'm gonna clean all this stuff up because it'll look a lot better. And then
yeah, it's kind of hard with the wiring harness. You have to get that out of the way, clean that all up. So
yeah, so there's just a bunch of little stuff just to make it look, and then we just put this bumper on yesterday. So they originally came up with a rule in 1973. It was like a 5 foot or 5 mile an hour or so, like where it had to hit something. Was it 5 mile an hour?
5 mile an hour, so it couldn't have any damage on the car. So back in
Yeah.
the day, they had chrome bumpers, so they started putting plastic ones with like a honeycomb.
So
in
it was polyurethane is what they used. It was like a rubber, and they basically get brittle and just like deteriorate over time. So this is a common issue. So this is a 74. So it doesn't even have the original rear bumper on. It's got about an 80 or 82 bumper on it. So then this front bumper we just put on, and you had to drill through the fiberglass, and there's not much room in between these headlights to get a screwdriver and then a nut driver on the other side. So it took us literally probably 10 hours working time on it, and now it's finally mounted up. And it looks a lot better having the bumper on there.
Yep.
So now the plan is just fix that fiberglass, paint the bumper, and then throw the engine in, and that's pretty much it.
See where it goes. So.
Yeah. So.
All right. So maybe when he puts the motor in, I can take another video and you can kind of see how it progresses here. But he's doing a really good job. He's learned a lot, and best way to learn is get your hands dirty and get in there. So
No help from my dad at all. So.
I'm busy. I got stuff to do. So I think I gave him the garage here. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Said he was going to have it out in 2 weeks.
The original plan was
It's about 6 weeks ago.
That was before we decided to clean everything up, and that was partially his idea. He's like, if you got it out, you might as well clean it and make it look good before you put it together.
So he's blaming me for stealing my garage. So
Yeah.
he's a good kid. He's doing a good job here. So all right. So we'll do some more videos soon, and check us out. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks.